people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recently video. Before we get into the books, I'd like to thank you all for hitting 600 subscribers. I'm so grateful for all of your continued support, and it's so validating to know that 600 of you support me, so thank you so much. Anyway, the first book on this list is called Made in Korea. This book is a YA contemporary following a pair of high school seniors who have rivaling school beauty businesses. This book was so good. I had really low expectations for this book for some reason. I'm not completely sure why, but anyway, this book exceeded those expectations because it ended up being really good. First of all, the two characters were both well-developed and distinct, and I really liked their dynamic, both romantically and platonically, and we love to see it. The plot was so intriguing, and it was so fast-paced, and I was so invested in this story. Like, this book is so good. The amount of enjoyment and investment I felt while reading this book reminded me of how emotionally invested I was when I read The Holiday Switch, which is such a high compliment because I really enjoyed that book too. Anyway, this book is really good because the plot was well developed, the characters were well developed, the romance was well developed and really cute, and I ended up rating this book 4 stars, so I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called How to Be a Girl in the World. This book is a middle-aged contemporary and it follows a young girl as she navigates growing up, claiming her space, and using her voice. There's a trigger warning on this book for sexual assault, so please be wary of that. I ended up rating this book 5 stars because I loved every single second of it. First of all, the subject matter of body autonomy and consent is so timely and it's so important, especially for young women. And I think that this book handled that topic so well, and honestly, it hit a little bit too close to home. This book is so good. Aside from that, all the characters were well developed and distinct. I was so emotionally attached to the main character. I wanted to reach through the pages and give her a hug because she deserves the world. This book is so good. The writing was excellent. The plot was excellent. Everything about the story was excellent. And also it made me cry more than twice. I love this book so much, and I ended up rating it 5 stars because there was nothing that I would change about it because everything was so awesome and I was so emotionally attached to everything that was happening. So with that, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Dreadnation. This book is a YA historical fantasy, and it's set in an alternate Civil War era, where instead of the North and South fighting, they're fighting zombies instead. And it follows a young girl caught in the middle of a conspiracy as families start to go missing. This book is so good, and it's so well developed in every single element. First of all, the plot is so action-packed, so fast-paced, and absolutely so intriguing and thrilling. Second of all, the world building is so immersive, and it's absolutely so inventive and so unique. Third of all, the characters are so well developed and so distinct. The main character is black and bisexual, and we love to see it. And her companion is Caela. So again, we love to see it. This book is so well done, and I loved the friendship so much, and I'm so excited to read the sequel. I will probably be talking about the sequel in my next recent reads video. This book was so well done. It was absolutely so inventive, and it was so unique, and I really enjoyed it. And I ended up rating it 4 stars, so I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Act Cool. This book is a YA contemporary and follows a young transgender teenager who walks a fine line between staying true to himself and doing whatever it takes for his acting dream. Honestly, I have mixed feelings about this book, and I ended up rating it 3 stars. First of all, I did enjoy the main character as a whole because I felt like he is such a strong, well-developed main character, and I definitely can understand why other people can find him relatable and timely and all of that, and his strength and moxie reminded me of the strength and moxie of the main character in Can't Take That Away, which I read in March or April if I'm not mistaken, and also I enjoyed how the plot was fast-paced and intriguing. However, aside from that, I didn't like the fact that there were too many side characters, so the romance, for example, came off as poorly developed. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed how the main character had such a supportive cast of friends, but I felt like there were way too many of them, so I kept mixing up who was who, so I didn't really like fully understand who was who, if that makes any sense, because I kept blowing together in my mind. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 3 stars because I had mixed feelings about it, and I'm probably not going to read any more books by this author in the future, but objectively, I understand why this book is so enjoyable for other people. It's just not my cup of tea. So yeah, with that said, like I mentioned, I rated this book 3 stars. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called The Keeper of Night. This book is a YA historical fantasy, and it follows a young girl in 1890s Japan who's half Reaper and half Shinigami as she seeks her destiny. This book is so good. I had really low expectations for this book because I knew that it dealt with like a more paranormal urban fantasy world building, and I don't usually love paranormal urban fantasies, but this book knocked it out of the park, and it was absolutely so cool and so inventive and so well done. First of all, the world building was so immersive, and it was absolutely so inventive and so detail-oriented that I could easily visualize it. Second of all, the plot is so action-packed, and it's so fast-paced, and it was absolutely so intriguing and so thrilling. Third of all, the characters are so well-developed and so distinct, and I really enjoyed every single one of them. I'm so excited to read the sequel next year because I have no idea what will happen next, nor do I know how the author is going to wrap everything up, since I believe this series is a duology. Anyway, this book is so good, and it's so well done, and it's absolutely so underrated. I ended up rating this book 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. So with that, I would highly recommend it. So, in conclusion, my favorite book on this list is How to Become a Girl in the World, because by default, that's the only book on this list that I ended up rating 5 stars. And in the same way, my least favorite book on this list is Act Cool, because that's the book that I gave the lowest rating. However, I would recommend all the books on this list except for Act Cool. Again, like I mentioned before, thank you so much for 600 subscribers. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the strawberry emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!